Welcome to part 2 of Competency 17 quiz. In this video, we will continue to discuss teaching and learning of mathematics. Number 5, which of the following is the most appropriate way for a mathematics teacher to respond to the student's work shown? Okay, let's take a look at this work. It says, using the figure below, determine if the following statement is true or false and explain your reasoning. Okay, the measurement of angle C is less than the measurement of angle F. Well, obviously, uh, we're the educator. We can see that they're going to be congruent. Okay, and if you can't see that, let's discuss why that would be. Well, obviously, first off, the student's answer is incorrect. And let's look at their rationale. Because triangle DEF is bigger and DE, that would be the distance DE, which says 9, is longer than AB. Okay, well, what they said is not their true observations. And that's what I would tell the student. Yes, I agree with your observations, but I disagree with your rationale because it isn't a mathematical proof, and that's where we have to get into discussing what is it that you see. Well, the first thing that you should see as an educator that triangle ABC is, again, one of our right triangles are primitives. This would be our Pythagorean primitive. Okay, so it's a 3, 4, 5. It's the smallest one. And then you should see that DEF is just scaled up. This is a dilation. The larger one is, let's see, they're all times 3. 5 times 3 is 15. 3 times 3 is 9. 3 times 4 is 12. And that would be how you would correct the student. But let's see what our options are here. Well, how should we answer this as an educator? It says A, the student's work is correct. Well, obviously, their observations are correct, but their work is not correct. They should have shown how they were multiplied and that they are similar triangles because they are one's dilated from the other and other various reasons. There could have been multiple answers to this as long as the student saw it. So A would not be right. Okay, B. The student's calculations are correct, but the teacher should ask the student to calculate the measure. No, you, yeah, we're not going to be able to do that in this situation unless they just knew the properties, and we probably haven't discussed the properties. Let's see what C says. The student's work is incorrect because the angle measures are not given and cannot be determined from the information provided. I mean, it's not exactly wrong in the sense that, yes, the student's incorrect. But what is incorrect about it is what it's saying cannot be determined. Well, you can determine them. If you know the process of how to get the angles, yeah, you can use the formula to determine them. There is a way to get those measures. I do it all the time. In fact, I have them memorized because I learned how to calculate them. So I don't like C. I don't like that at all. Let's look at D. The student's work is incorrect because the triangles are similar. Therefore, the measure of C equals F. Ah, there you go. I like D the best, okay? Number 6, Mr. James gave his 8th grade class a quiz on graphing inequalities. One of his students responded incorrectly to one problem. See the problem and the student's work below. Okay, and there's the image of what the student turned in or gave. Okay, graph the inequality. So they're supposed to graph it. That's why we have the image. Okay, so first they wrote the problem down. X minus y is less than or equal to 6. Okay. Then they created, obviously looks like they created a zero pair on both sides. That's how they they got the negative x over here. I agree with that. What I do not agree with is that obviously they either multiplied or divided by -1 the entire problem, which is fine to get rid of the negative in front of the y, okay, which is a implied -1, whatever. What they didn't do was follow the basic rules of flipping the inequality around, okay? That's a mistake that they've made. What is the best feedback that Mr. James can provide to correct the student's misunderstanding? Okay, let's see what they have to say here. There's a couple ways to handle this. What are they gonna say? Just mark it incorrect with an X. Oh, don't do that. And that's neutral. Anything that is a neutral response or like a don't do anything response from the educator is incorrect. So always mark those out. Let's see what B says. Write on her paper. This is incorrect. Go back and study inequality graphs. That's that's kind of a negative thought. That's telling the student you're on your own. You misunderstood my teaching, and that's your problem. So you need to go figure it out. I don't like that for middle school. Now, maybe in some instances in high school, there may be a reason why an educator would do that, but that is a super bad idea. I don't want them going out to the internet and getting things wrong again because I've had that happen with my students. I'm like, they don't always understand with the internet. If they don't understand you, they're probably not going to understand the internet either. And they're going to make some other crazy, wild mistake. Okay, so you don't want them going out on their own. No, I don't like that. Okay, let's see. C. Write on her paper. This is incorrect. You forgot to switch the inequality sign when you multiplied by -1. Now, multiplied by -1 may change for you. You may not be ready to show the student or use that. You may do that divide because we do divide by the coefficient that is in front of the y. So most teachers just carry that through for a while. So it depends on where you are in your teaching, okay? And the understanding the student has. So it's also okay to say divide. All right. So you shaded the wrong side. I like that. They told the student they were incorrect. However, they stated to the student what how to fix themselves. I would have literally written it really quick out. I would have put an arrow where they made the mistake and then wrote it out for them, you know, and maybe put the same kind of note on the side, but I would have physically showed them. So I like C the best. Always remember, don't let them go out and figure things out on their own. Like, as I stated, if they didn't understand you, they most likely aren't going to understand the internet. So either you want them to go to a reputable tutor that you work with or someone that where you know they're going to get the right idea, or just give it to them and keep telling them and say and check back and say, did you look at what I said about that? Did you bother to look at, the paper when I handed it back? Did you look at my notes online? Whatever. Okay, let's see. D. Write on her paper. Your graph does not match your solution to the inequality you obtain. uh Actually, it does match. So if you choose that, you are showing that you don't know what you're doing as an educator. Okay, let me see what else it says. Please consider testing your point in your shaded area, such as 8, 0. Yeah, see, if I was going to test my shaded region, I would have done it differently. Because let's see, if you have 8, 0, then like if they tested it, if they use this and then they put in 0 for the y, okay, and 8 That would be -8 plus 6, which would be -2. Yeah, that's not gonna work either. Yeah, see, that just shows that you don't know what you're talking about. Yeah, D's definitely not an option. I was trying to see how you could rationalize that at at all, and it said, let me see what else it says, and why it does not satisfy the original inequality. Then think about how multiplying by -1 affects an inequality. Okay, that's a student isn't going to read that. And first off, consider testing your point in your shaded region. The thing is that their shaded region does match their graph. It's in their inequality needed to be flipped around. Okay. I'm sorry. I'm kind of rambling about that, but you have to think about these questions. Okay. Let me explain to D. It is always kind of like our nature, and I've seen some professors say this. Well, if there's more written about it, that's probably what they want you to pick. That is so not true. Just because the author of the question has given a greater explanation, it doesn't mean that you need to draw to that answer. Okay. Yeah, they've written a lot, but and explain themselves well in it. However, their initial sentence is incorrect. Okay. All right. This is the last problem for this video. I want to thank you guys for watching all to the end, all the way to the end. Kudos to you. And again, guys, happy testing.